Radio. Swagger all day, baby.
Okay. You know who it is. It's your boy Trainers in the Black Knight, a.k.a. Ashy Knuckles, is in the building. What's up? And I got the privilege and the pleasure and the honor to be busting up with the man, Mr. Ray McCline. How you doing, sir? How you doing today?
Hey, how you doing, Train?
Oh, it's a pleasure, man. This is a pleasure to sit here on our platform and be able to talk to you, bust it up. Yo, from coming to your event, man, the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame, which is the best sport in the planet, you know what I mean? You have all of these ex-fighters, cut men, referees. They keep saying that the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame is the best one that they ever been to. What you doing over there, Tone? Why everybody feel that way?
Hey, first of all, let me say thank you to Swag Magazine. I appreciate you, Train. I appreciate Raheem for the invitation. This has been long overdue, and I'm glad to be able to be on your platform. And I thank you guys for covering us. We don't take that lightly. But what we, to answer your question, what we have been doing, I guess, to the people is giving them what they want, and that is, great experience when they're here in Atlantic City for the weekend, but also we're honoring, individuals that have done so much in the sport of boxing, universally, but, in particular here in Atlantic City. And we want to make sure that we honor them, with our awards, but also we're going to be honoring them in the future with their names engraved and, memorialized forever here in Atlantic City.
The energy, the feeling in the air, the love be in the air is almost like a family reunion with, most people, they loving each other, hugging each other. The fans are super excited. It's just a beautiful event, hands down. I know it takes a lot to put this together, and you've been successfully doing it year after year now. So who's the team? Who's the people with you to help you put this together?
It's a great team. My partner and Vice President Roderick L. Green. We have individuals, and please, I hope I don't forget anyone's name. Our webmaster, our marketing person, graphics, just our virtual presence. Jay Torres out of Dallas, Texas. Whitney Ullman, she handles she's really like our administrative assistant. She's our marketing promotions person as well. Rob Scott, he's our liaison with all the fighters and inductees. His wife Lisa Scott. We have my guy, John Martin, who handles our exhibits and memorabilia. Milton LeBron as well. Icons of boxing, Catherine LeBron, Vernine Hill. And my son, Michael McCline, and I'm hoping I'm not missing any names. Samad Hawk, our production guy, Mark Rotzi, and Keyshawn McKinley. Keyshawn Wyman, DJ Young Hitter. And hopefully, again, I didn't miss any names. But we have just a slew of people that help, during the weekend, but also year round. And, and I appreciate it because it's not, I kind of give the vision of what we want to do, and everyone helps me, bring it to fruition. So it takes a team effort, and hopefully that's what everyone feels and sees during the weekend.
It definitely shows. It definitely shows in the end result, because it's a great event. Nothing short from being great event.
I appreciate it.
And how long you been doing it so far?
Well, for us, we're going into our 8th year, but we officially launched in 2014. That was the conception, of or I should say that's when it was established. It was after, for me, it was conceived like in 2010, 2012. But the actual, we actually established it in 2014. Did our first and inaugural induction weekend was in 2017. And here we are now, going into our 8th year. We had a year that was kind of lost in 20 during the pandemic, and we did a combination year in 2020, 2021 and 2022, I think it was, the classes. well, I'm sorry, 2020 and 2021 classes was done in 2021. So here we are now going into our, eighth year at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's a perfect place too, man. That's a perfect
Yeah.
place. And so, how has the city of Atlantic City been embracing y'all?
Hey, from day one, it's been all love, from the previous mayors to the current mayor, Marty Small, Senior, has been, unbelievable support to us, as well as other, you know, uh, stakeholders in the city and also in the county of Atlantic County. So I appreciate everyone, other businesses, and just so many other, great, groups have, come on board and they've shown us support. And each year, we add more to the list, and hopefully, it will keep growing and keep having that experience that everyone is becoming accustomed to.
It's almost impossible to come there and not be starstruck to see some of your heroes. Growing up as a kid, I'm a huge fight fan, and just even to see some of the people behind the scenes and to learn, it's an educational experience as well, because I've learned a lot of things that I didn't know attending the events and the history of certain things and people, and that's a beautiful thing. Y'all capture all of that. Like, there's a lot of thought and energy that goes into that alone, I'm sure, right?
Oh, well, question, and and you say that you're all struck, but I'm the same. I'm a fan, as well. So there's individuals that throughout my 40 plus years in this business, I've met, some of them when I was young, a young guy, coming to Atlantic City. They were, just making their bones here, or their careers were getting established. And I remember meeting them when I was a young teenager, and now, being in a place where, we're honoring them, and I'm standing next to them, laughing and joking, or calling them to let them know that they've been selected as inductees into the Hall of Fame here, or that, asking them would they be, love to come and be a guest here. These are guys that I've watched on television, and now, there's, some daily communication in some aspect. So I find myself, in awe, as well. Last year we had Yaki Lopez here, and Yaki Lopez, was a champion in the light heavyweight division. And I'm sorry, he wasn't a champion. He was top contender in the light heavyweight division during the 80s, late 70s, 80s. And, just to meet him last year was just like a honor, because the guy was just such a warrior, and Danny Little Red Lopez as well. I used to love watching him on ABC and and other platforms. And this year we have Carlos Palomino, who I was a big fan of. Welterweight. I used to think he was just such one of the coolest, sharpest fighters in the world. At that time, watching him on major network television, and my all-time favorite, Michael Spinks.
Michael Spinks.
I idolized that guy from the Olympics, throughout his career, and now to have a relationship with him over the years has just been great. So, it's a job, obviously with what we do, with the Hall of Fame, but also I'm a fan, and I appreciate, and I'm humbled by the fact that I'm able to meet people that I idolize, but at the same time, we're able to honor them for their careers, and kind of have people remember who they were and what they stood for.
Indeed. And you guys also do an excellent job of bringing the old school and the new school together, along with the history, and putting that together with some current information and stuff like that. It's just a beautiful thing. And these guys are getting to meet each other too sometimes, some of them for the first time. Am I right?
Without question. You would think that all fighters know one another because
Right.
they're in the business.
Mm-hmm.
But I watch some of the fighters go up and meet some of their idols,
Right.
that they idolize.
Mhm.
And you get a chance to have them here, and, in a weekend watch, someone go over and meet someone that they watched growing up and help inspire them as fighters. I remember last year, I think it was last year or the year before, Michael Olajide saying that he was looking forward to meeting Shannon Briggs. Now, I would have thought that they met over the years, in New York, in the gyms and all, but they had never met. So it was just interesting to see that, two established, fighters that are, get really well in their careers meet for the first time,
Yep.
So yeah, I'm glad that we're able to, you know, uh, be that type of bridge, in the sport.
Indeed, indeed. Let's go, champ. Yeah, it was a pleasure. It was a real big honor and pleasure for me to meet that brother right there. And let me ask you a question. I know, like, we'll watch the fight with friends and family. Y'all watched the fight last year. Who was it?
Canelo Alvarez. Yeah,
Right. So
Canelo
y'all
and
watched the fight.
Charlo. Yeah.
What was the difference of watching the fight with your friends and family and then watching the fight with all those boxing greats and legends and referees and cutmen? What was the difference?
When that is an interesting question, and when you take, now that I take a minute and pause and think about it, that was the ultimate fan experience. To be in a room where you have greats that have fought on that platform, where the boxing world is stopped and they're watching you fight, and to be in a room where Michael Spinks, I want to say Roberto Duran, Shannon Briggs, Pinklin Thomas, Tracy Patterson, so many greats all in one room. I think we had about 40 champions in the room watching Canelo Alvarez fight that night.
Mm-hmm.
To me, is one of those things I don't know, could ever be duplicated again, and it was so organic, and it was such a great experience to be in the room to watch those guys watch someone do, do what they did, years ago when they brought, many of people to arenas like that. So it was a cool experience.
And it had to, the conversation had to be different because you're talking about professionals and people
Yeah.
who've been there. So they probably was like, he's putting too much weight on his right foot when he throws that jab. It was the technical side of it. The conversation probably was just way different. I know. I can
Oh no,
imagine.
you can watch you can see the wheels turning and the brain, burning there watching a guy. You can see they're analyzing the fight. So I was looking at the room. I was kind of standing in the back, just kind of watching, what was taking place. And yeah, that was a one of those experiences that I think, years from now, everyone's going to talk about when they talk about the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame. They're going to talk about that experience.
Do y'all really know the magnitude? Do you really know what you're really doing for these champions, for these professionals, for these boxers, the people behind the scenes? What you're doing to them, helping them remember, helping them add on to their legacy? Do you know how? Do you have any idea how what you're doing, the magnitude what you're doing to help these people?
Actually, not to sound cocky or anything of that nature, because it's definitely not. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying answering this question in that way at all. But yes, each year we've gotten better at what we do, and each year we understand, how this affect not just the fighters but their families,
Their families
their
as well.
friends,
Yep.
and you realize that in some cases, some of these fighters, they have grandkids now,
Right.
and those grandkids didn't get a chance to see their fathers, or grandfathers, I should say,
Right.
compete. So to see that, kind of happen in front of you or unfold, where you can see the pride in a family member seeing that, inductee being honored in that moment around people like, Roy Jones. I remember a couple, 2021, we had a local fighter from here, Ernest Bing. He was being inducted, Atlantic City fighter. He wasn't a champion, but he was homebred here. And, a lot of his fights weren't captured on television. So all his kids can remember, or his grandchildren can, they heard was our grandfather was a boxing champion, or he was a great fighter from here. but they know who Roy Jones is. They knew who Trinidad was. So to see their grandfather now in that moment where he's on the same stage and he's being honored in the same, manner that Roy Jones and Trinidad was just such a great, experience for his family, but also for us. So it's not just the big names that we look at. It's those guys that didn't become world champions, but they put the work in as well. But now their families are getting a chance to see, them honored in the same way as a Roy Jones and a Felix Trinidad.
And when the boxers that don't have the biggest name, when they find out somebody like James Toney know their work and appreciate what they've done in the sport, that's got to be overwhelming to the family and the kids and the friends and everything. That's got to be overwhelming. And I do know, being in the crowd watching the ceremony and seeing the emotions in the crowd, people be laughing one minute, people be cheering the next minute, and people be crying because you have a lot of people who've passed on who y'all give awards inducted into the Hall of Fame as well. So what's that like?
Again, I appreciate the questions because those are things like, we don't take for granted, to see, again, in this business, we watch some of these, again, fighters that we idolize, and now they're no longer with us. And I remember the year, I want to say it was 2021, we honored Pernell Whitaker. He passed away in 2020. I think it was 2020. So we didn't get a chance, tragically from a car accident. So when we selected him, he was, he had, tragically died that year. So we didn't get a chance to actually honor him personally, so we had to do it in a posthumous manner. And, those are things that you look at and you kind of take it for granted that someone's going to be with you forever, because we watch these guys, go through these wars and, come out on the other side victorious and now not have them with us. So to see that, have to do that, that honor now with the fighter not being here, but having their families here, being able to accept on their behalf, it's bittersweet. Yeah. Bittersweet. And we have that this year, in Eddie Cotton, famed referee, he passed away during the COVID, pandemic, also, and we're honoring them this year. So his family is coming in from Paterson, New Jersey, also Howard Davis Jr., he passed away, several years ago. But, we're honoring him, this year as well, at posthumous. His family's coming in from Florida, and, we get a chance to, again, let them remember who he was, remember his greatness. And in the case of Howard Davis Jr., he has, I think his daughter is 13 years old now, and she was, I think, to my understanding, she was about 5 or 6 years old when he passed. So she never got a chance to see his great career,
right.
As an Olympian and, as, a fighter. But, she heard so many great things of her father. So now she get a chance to see him be honored, in this manner. So it's, it's pretty cool, thing that we can do, at this time, to be able to, have that memory of him, again, engraved in others' hearts.
Indeed. And it's a beautiful thing because, well, first of all, the Pernell Whitaker, Sweet Pea, that was rough one for us too, because my partner Ra and him actually know each other. They've grown up, they grow up together, in Virginia, and that's rough. It's always rough when you lose somebody like that abruptly. But again, in the audience, see where I'm sitting, I get to see everybody's reaction and emotions, and it's like a lot of moving parts. Y'all do a wonderful job. Y'all do a wonderful job of keeping everything in order and step by step, and it flows. The flow is beautiful. It's not chaotic. It's not chaotic and crazy, and just the flow is amazing. And y'all do a wonderful job of doing that.
You know what, I train, and I'm glad that you see that, because it's work put into it. And again, like I said, we learned each year, from our mistakes, and even though some people may not see it from the audience, we see it, internally, and we feel it. So we go back, and we, to the drawing board, and we say, hey, look, we're going to do, a little more of this and less of that, but with it, it's work, and our goal is to make sure that we do this with excellence, and in that, we've looked at the, Grammys, we've looked at the ESPYS, we've looked at the Oscars, we've looked at, BET Awards, All Star Weekend, and my thing is, why can't boxing have that type of weekend? I know we have other Hall of Fames. I've been to other Hall of Fames. I appreciate everything that they do, but it was what's going to make Atlantic City different. Why should someone come to our event and not just go to the same, Hall of Fame banquets and awards, ceremonies that they have at all these other, places? And it was like, well, let's take a chance. Let's give people something a little different than what they've been experiencing. And it's taken, some people have embraced it, some haven't, but we feel that if we continue down this path, we're going to, be that premier, weekend, in this sport, and we feel like we're actually moving towards that.
Indeed, indeed, and the beautiful thing is people don't understand. Atlantic City had its hands in boxing from the gate, from the very beginning. So the history in Atlantic City and the boxing alone is rich. Now I know you guys don't just do Atlantic City history; y'all do it. You do it all. But this one of the meccas, and the beautiful thing that some of these fighters said I haven't been back here in like 20, 30 years. So it's beautiful for me to come back here where I got some of my first big fights and everything. So learning that alone for me was a beautiful thing. That was a beautiful thing, learning their history.
Hey, look, in Atlantic City, obviously during the casino era is what people remember of this sport, especially here, the late 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Atlantic City, pretty much dominated boxing, especially in the 80s. But it predates the casinos. Atlantic City boxing goes back to the turn of the century here. Some of the mob bosses like Scarface and Al Capone and Frank White. They actually had meetings here in Atlantic City, and it was around boxing. During Prohibition. Right. That was the business. They were doing their illegal business, but it was around boxing. Mm-hmm. Here in on the boardwalk and in arenas here. Boxing was done. In the early 20s. Here you had Joe Louis. Doing some of his fights here. Sugar Ray Robertson. Guys. Jack Dempsey trained. In Atlantic City on the boardwalk. For the people that were coming here for the summer. So I mean, it's obviously we celebrate Atlantic City what it was in the 80s and 90s. But again, it really predate that, and I'm learning that myself as we go with this more and more. How rich Atlantic City's boxing history really is.
I mean, it was boxing alone was the biggest sport on the planet at one time. And
yes.
So I agree wholeheartedly with you that it should be what you guys are doing is wonderful because y'all actually putting it on the front, on the forefront again with the ceremonies, and that's where it should be. That's where it should be. Mm-hmm. We should never put it on a back burner, or it shouldn't be second to nothing when it was always the first biggest sport on the planet, and then especially in America. Anyway, but yeah, so y'all also do a wonderful job too of capturing old pictures and footage and stuff like that. How hard is that to come across that stuff to put in the sauce with everything that y'all do?
It's not as easy as it may look. Like you think, because we've seen some of these fighters, on national television, the imagery, it wasn't digital like the way that we have it today. Everyone didn't have a camera phone or, recorder to be able to, capture pictures. So sometimes finding pictures for my graphics guy to put together, our fight posters is a challenge. And, in some fights, fighters, like I said, if they weren't nationally, recognized champions, and they were, fighting in some cases, club shows, it wasn't always footage there. Because, again, we're not always honoring just the big names.
Right.
They're local fighters. So it's a challenge sometimes finding that. But I have a great team. Like I said, my guy Jay Torres, Eric Hansen with Dark Tower Entertainment, Samad Hawk, with Thai Hawk Media, and also my guy Keyshawn Wyman, DJ Young Hitter, and Mark Rotzi, they really do a great job of helping me, pull all this together and making, a beautiful picture, for everyone during that weekend experience.
Indeed. And what do y'all do to make it more kid friendly? Like, something for the whole family to come out and witness and enjoy. But what things are y'all got, that you're trying to do in the future to make even more families and more kids want to be involved and come and be a part of this wonderful experience?
Well, we during the weekend we have our fan experience, which is autographs, picture, photo, opportunities. We have exhibits, we have memorabilia. It's a lot of interactive type of things that we do during the weekend. But what we're doing now, we're working with the city of Atlantic City, as well as community development block grant, which is a HUD Department of HUD for the city of Atlantic City to establish the Atlantic City Walk of Fame. So we're going to be making that announcement during this year's weekend. That we're establishing the Atlantic City Walk of Fame, where you're going to see these names, again, immortalized, forever here in Atlantic City. We're going to be not just plaques, but we're looking to do statues. We're looking to do other, interactive, type of experiences. So we really are, going for us. It's not just the weekend. We're now moving into the next phase of what Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame really is, which is also going to be establishing a permanent Hall of Fame here in Atlantic City with all the archives and memorabilia of the history, here. So, again, we're coming, and we expect to make a lot of noise over the next several years.
Indeed, that's beautiful. That sounds awesome. That is awesome. That'll be wonderful. And who's the gentleman again? The brother who does the portraits. Oh, he's a bad man. Those portraits be on point.
Yeah, and thank you for mentioning that, because I definitely would have felt bad to not mention my man Patrick Killian. He is from Wales, UK, and let me tell you, man, that guy is he is the Leroy Neiman of today. I mean, he captures the fighters, image, on canvas. And we've been working together since 2018, and just every year, he's been here, personally presenting, the pictures to each fighter. And also we have Chris Guzman, who's a glove artist. He does the exact same, he captures the images of the non-fighters, special contributors on the boxing gloves. So I appreciate both of them, and also the awards. Plaques, the medals, the lapel pins, all those are done by my guy Jay Torres from Fight Night Apparel. So again, I have a great team, and I appreciate everything that's been done to get us to this point.
Yeah, I even got one of those beautiful crystals as a gift to give to my partner Ra.
Yes, that's from she's. I cannot believe I can't say his name right now. He's going to tell me, Harry Palmer out of Philadelphia.
Great work.
He, 3D, what is it, Marie Constantine, 3D crystals. Yeah, he is incredible in what he actually does, that 3D imagery in those crystals.
Indeed, great work. Now, if you don't mind, we want to go back into history real quick with you. Like, how did you, what was your humble beginnings in all of this? Where did you start?
Actually, for me, I was brought into this business. I was introduced to it when I was about 14 years old by my stepfather. It took me to a fight in Atlantic City. It was the Steel Pier. We went to go see some fights there. I remember seeing Charlie Choo Choo Brown, White Lightning Brown, and Charlie Choo Choo Brown fighting on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Also had a chance to see Ernest Being, a local fighter from here. And then, he had a barbershop in Pleasantville, which is the sister city to Atlantic City.
Hmm.
And some of the fighters at that time were coming to the barbershop when they were getting ready for their fights in the city. And I had a chance to meet some young fighter at the time. His name was Joe Manley, and then also James Broad, who was the 1980 you know, representative for the 1980 Olympic team. He was, I think we had boycotted the Olympics over in Moscow, so he didn't get a chance to fight for gold. But his manager Stan Hoffman and Robert Middleman, they brought him down to the Atlantic City area to train by my mentor at the time, Mike Hall. So I was, you know, at the gym watching these guys train, being around them. I had a chance to see guys like Simon Brown, Maurice Blocker, young Vinny Paz, and so many other greats, Mike McCallum. All these guys were coming in, like Kronk, were bringing their fighters in. You had Duva bringing the fighters in because they were fighting, on the Tuesday nights and Thursday night cards, USA or ESPN, and so I had a chance to see a lot of these young great champions as their careers were being developed, and it just piqued my interest. I was working in the summer at the gym that they were training at, and so I had a chance to see them, and I befriended some of them at that time. But it just kept me. I kept coming around, and then one of my good friends, his name was Kevin Watts. Kevin Killer Watts was a young middleweight that was just starting to come up, and he was fighting on ESPN and USA Network, and I was just helping out. I was being at the gym, carrying his bags, or just helping him, not training but just being around as a friend, support staff, and it just kept me in the gym. My mentor Mike Hall taught me how to wrap hands, taught me how to work corners, taught me the business of boxing, and where I became one of his assistant trainers. So I worked with him with Kevin Watts. I worked with him with Virgil Hill, Ray Mercer, Tracy Patterson, and we trained so many other fighters. Mighty Mike Arnautas, Brian Nelson, who fought Mike Tyson prior to Tyson fighting Lennox Lewis. So I had a chance to come up in this business as a trainer, and then become an advisor and business rep to promotional companies, and got into the real estate mortgage business for years. Kind of got out of the boxing for a minute, but I was brought back in to help some young fighters here, and in that process, we were. I think in 2010, Virgil Hill was being inducted into the New Jersey Boxing Hall of Fame, and I had a chance, me and some other of our team, go up to, support him for that induction, and the ball, in my head went off at that time of Atlantic City having the same type of award ceremony here, and it took me from, like I said, from that first bulb going off in my head in 2010 to 2014 when I first established it, and then actually from 14 to 17 when we did our first event. So it was patience, it was perseverance, and it was it was a lot of work.
And building that team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, that's a beautiful thing. I'm glad.
So I've been in this business since I was about 14, 15 years old.
Okay.
But officially, I would say in 1987, 88 is when I got baptized officially in boxing, and I've been in it ever since.
That's awesome. So that means you ain't just wake up one day and say, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this and do. Nah, you actually was bred it and breed it to be the type of person to be able to put this together and bring everybody together.
The work has been put in, and some, there's again a lot of the fighters they know me from being a trainer, and then there's some people that didn't know I did it, because I don't really talk about that aspect. I'm glad that it's captured, for my own, personal, vantage point. I'm glad that it is captured, and archived, on, YouTube, and, you can go and watch Virgil Hill and Roy Jones, or, Ray Mercer and, Klitschko fight on HBO, and you see me,
That's awesome.
And those are the things that my kids, I'm glad that they get a chance to see those things, but also they see the work that I put in as a business man, and the work that I do as a visionary for the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame, and bringing this to its full, mature state, with my team. I'm glad that my family get a chance to see this part of it. Because when I was on the other side as a trainer, I was very intense sometimes.
Right. Understood. And you guys
Sorry, I live out. I don't live that far from the Atlantic City Airport,
right.
And also the jets are flying, past right now.
No problem, no doubt. But you guys also do a wonderful job of representing the women in the business well. I've learned a lot about some of the women. Some like the first female who boxed in Atlantic City, I think, got the first one that was legally allowed to box. What was her name again? Yeah,
actually, Jamila Lawrence. She was the first one, the first professional fighter from Atlantic City, recognized professional fighters. But there was, female fights that was done prior to her, in the casinos. I think Kathy Collins, who we honored in 2021, she was one of the first, established fighters in the casinos here. And that was done also by a female promoter who we've also honored, who's a staple here, and that's Diane Fisher, D-League Promotions. So women boxing has, definitely grown over the years, but it was when it wasn't at its highest heights, you had fighters that were still competing in the casino area here.
Mm-hmm. And I think I met the first black woman judge.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not, I'm not sure if she was the first, here, but I know she was one of, she's definitely a pioneer, and that's Lynn Carter.
Indeed.
But I think she's definitely, if she's not the first, she's like the second. So I don't want to,
Right. I got you. Well, it's just like an honor meeting these lovely women and learning, their contribution to the sport and everything. That was just very, very fulfilling for me to learn those things. So, keep up the great work with that, please. And we want to salute the sponsors, man. You guys been getting some sponsors coming aboard, and seeing your vision and being a part of all of this, right? So we want to salute the sponsors.
Yes, without question. Thank you. And again, I hope I don't forget anyone's, name, but Boardwalk Resorts and the flagship property, they've been with us from day one. And Roxanne Passarella and her team has been great. We also have the City of Atlantic City. We also have the Casino Redevelopment Authority. We have Darcy Johnson Day on board with the Spar Bar. It's been with us as well since I think 2018. We have the Irish Pub. We have Bare Knuckle Fighting Champions, Dave Feldman and his crew. We have, Fight Night Apparel. And again, I hope I'm not missing any names. I don't have them in front of me, but we have so many great sponsors that's been with us over the years. And I don't take any of them for granted. They've written with us, when we were making mistakes in the background, and they, persevered through some hard times, and, they've, helped us make it to this point where people are able to experience a great weekend in Atlantic City. Hard Rock as well. They are not just a sponsor; they are a partner with us, and we couldn't do this without Hard Rock. That is a global, recognized entertainment brand. That's when people say what humbles you, that there. We started out at the Claridge Hotel in Atlantic City, which is a historic property. But now, to be at the Hard Rock for, for several years now, it's just incredible. I mean, you're talking about a global, recognized entertainment brand, and they are partners with us with this.
Beautiful.
That makes you, pause and pinch yourself and kind of shake your head and say, only God can do those things. And again, if it wasn't for God being in favor on us, we wouldn't be where we are right now.
All praises due to the Most High. All praises due. When you go to an event at the Hard Rock, you feel like you had a major event. So it's a beautiful thing to be there. Definitely at the Hard Rock. And we're gonna show some love to the queen of hip hop, Miss Roxanne Shante. You know, Miss
Hey,
Roxanne
she is
Tate.
one of our, official ambassadors. Her and her husband Ali Jabbar, man, they are here. They are the first when the invitations go out. They are the first response back. They, throughout the year, we're texting and greeting one another all the time. But she is unbelievable ambassador for the sport, but for us here at Atlantic City, she is one of our major supporters, and we really appreciate her being here each year. And not only is she here, she makes sure that she goes and visit all the vendors and fighters that are selling shirts or gloves or whatever. She makes sure that she supports them, as well. And I really appreciate her and her husband.
Indeed, we love Roxanne Shante, man. We love Roxanne Shante. Yeah, and we love you guys. We love the Hard Rock. We love the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame, and I would like to definitely give a shout out to the person who's turned us on to the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame, and that was Apollo Ali, and he's the grandson of the legendary boxing champ Jersey Joe Walcott.
Yeah,
and
no, a great family, the Cream family. And Jersey Joe Walcott and his, legacy, being, the first commissioner for the sport here in the state of New Jersey, which helped establish Atlantic City's boxing to where it is right now. And that is a great family. I appreciate Ali, Apollo, I'm sorry, and also his brothers Vince and Cream, Vince and Chris Cream. Those guys have been, just great friends. And, I really appreciate all that they do to help support us as well. And also, I wanted to thank another couple sponsors. I definitely don't want to, be remiss if I didn't mention the Atlantic City PAL and also Ocean Inc. They've been, great, supporters of ours as well. The IBF, the WBC, again, they've been great supporters of the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame.
Indeed. So we're looking forward to seeing what you guys got set up for this year. I'm excited. The hair stand up on my neck every time it gets close to September to date, so just excited, man. We love you guys over here at Swag Magazine and Swag Radio, sir. Keep up the great work.
Train, again, thank you. And also, it's going to be a great weekend, September the 27th to September the 30th, which is actually September 27th, 28th, 29th. Everything will be happening, and everyone's be hanging out into the 30th that Monday and heading back home. But we're going to have a great full weekend of live boxing, which is going to be at resorts with one of our partners and sponsors as well. Hard Hitting Promotions. They're going to be doing a great boxing show. We're also going to be doing our awards ceremony on Saturday. We have Jerry Cooney and Brandy Gordon doing their live Sirius XM radio show right, from the Hard Rock on Friday. We have Shabay Mitchell is going to be doing a comedy brunch on Sunday at the Hard Rock, hosted by Nate Campbell, former lightweight, junior lightweight and lightweight champion. So we're really excited about what this weekend is going to look like. We have also another one of our sponsors, Tennessee Tobacco, Lounge. They're going to be doing a great event on Tennessee Avenue in Atlantic City at their cigar lounge. So, like I said, it's a full weekend. It's a little for every little bits and pieces for everyone. So come out. If you can only come out for one day, you're going to, have a great experience on that day that you come, whether it's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
And where do they go to your website, or how do they get tickets or information, and how do they connect with you guys?
Yeah, our website, www.acbhof.com, or you can reach us, on our social media platforms. ACBHOF, is our handles. Facebook, Twitter. I know it's X, but Twitter, Instagram. As well. So, just, ACBHOF is going to take you to everything that is Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame.
And I'm telling y'all, for me personally, I done been to Soul Train Music Awards. I done been to Wu-Tang Mansion parties. I done been to all kinds of events. This event right here is official. You will love it. You will enjoy yourself immensely. Bring the family. Bring everybody, man. This is the real deal right here, man. Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame, baby. Out there every day. Thank you, sir, for your time.
a salute to you, as well, my brother, and I appreciate Swag Magazine for giving us opportunity to be on your platform, and we appreciate all that you guys do and getting us out to the audience.
Yes,
so
sir.
thank you again.
Respect, sir. Respect. God bless.
Okay, God bless.
You're listening to Swag Radio. Turn it up.
The future of radio.
This is how we do it, baby.